Hello everyone, I'm JD and this is my tutorial on how we take the classic Playmates Star Trek action figures and separate them up into pieces so that you can do your own customization work. First, let me go over a few things you need. I've got the hot water getting ready. It's starting to boil. It's still cold right now. Sitting here on the stove. I always take and I get a spoon that's got some holes in it and I set it in the bottom. The reason being is so that when I put the figures in, they won't sink to the bottom and be like directly in contact with the burner. Second is a pair of basically you want something that you can handle the figures with when you're pulling them in and out, because when they first come out of the water they're going to be super hot. Second thing is something like needle nose pliers, kind of like these. These are going to be great for pulling stuff out, as well as being able to squeeze into some joints. And finally, it's a simple and weird tool, but a couple of just plain butter knives. These are really good when you're separating the chest cavity, which you might be able to see. There's a little line right there we're going to get to here in just a little bit, that it's easy to get get the butter knife inside there and pull it out. Now while that's heating, I want to go over a couple of things about the figures that it's important to know as you're going into working on them. First is the pegs that attach the heads. Now you can end up with two kinds of neck pegs, basically. I call them peg up and peg down. What this refers to is whether the peg is going from the head down into the body, or is it a separate peg from the body going up inside the head. It's a little difficult sometimes to tell. You can kind of bend the head back a little bit and you can see that this Odo is a peg down, meaning that the neck goes down and connects into the body. Now most female figures, and that's why I've got this Deanna Troi specifically, are a peg up, and it's actually, she's already gotten loose enough that I can pop that up and you see the peg goes up into a little hole in the neck. This actually makes it super convenient for attaching and changing these out as you want. You could put Dr. Crusher or Loaxana Troi or whoever's head on there now. Real simple to switch in and out. I am going to be going ahead and breaking down the rest of this body here in a minute, because I'm going to be needing the arms for a separate project. Same with Odo. I'm going to be breaking him down. It's specifically, the only thing I have to do with him is I've got to get his head off, because I'm going to be switching his head for Vedek Bareil, so that I can have another Bajoran officer for the background. Alright, we're going to pause and wait for the water to start boiling and be right back. Okay, so the water is just about to temperature. I've already gone ahead and dropped Deanna Troi's body in, put her head in a bowl. I have a bowl off to the side that as I'm getting done with stuff, I'm just going to be throwing all the parts in there. And then when I get back to my workspace, I'll be sorting through them and, figuring out what's going to be going with what and that kind of thing. So, got Odo in there. I try not to do too many figures at one time. 2 or 3 in the water at a time. The reason being is it doesn't really take them terribly long. It's about 30 seconds to a minute to start getting certain parts loosened up and softened. The shoulders get loosened up within about a minute. It's real fast, and I'll show you that here literally in just a few seconds. I can probably start getting Troy's shoulders popped out. But yeah, and then what I typically do is once I've got the shoulders popped out, I'll throw the rest of the figure back in, because there's actually glue on the inside of it's hard to show this even on camera, that inside the casing of the chest cavity, they have these two pieces that come together, and they put a thin layer of glue And so you kind of have to let the water get hot enough both inside and outside for it to melt and loosen up that glue so you can really pull it apart. That's what I was talking about with the butter knife as far as pulling the parts apart. Now that the water is starting to get to a boil, I'm going to turn the temperature down to something that'll be a little bit easier to regulate. I'm going to pull Troy out, and let's see. Hopefully you can see this real well, that I can grab the shoulder and give it a twist like that, and it pops out real easy. If I want to, I can pop that. You saw how well that popped out, and these are small fiddly bits, so getting them back in can be a little trouble. If you need to separate these out more, you can. I don't need to right now. Not for what I'm going to be doing. Like I said, the arms are going to be for something going onto a different body. Same with the legs. I'm going to be putting them on a different body. The hips down. I'm just going to be getting rid of the chest cavity, which you can kind of... Yeah, it's not loosened up at all. Let's see if Odo has started loosening up in the shoulders yet. Grab right there. Oh, yeah, the lower arm came out. That's okay. I can easily pull it part of the way and then get deeper under the arm, pull it the rest of the way. Now, as I said, all I'm actually doing on Odo is I need the head removed so that I can switch the head out. So you might be wondering, well, why did you take the arms out? Well, it's easier to get the head out if you can get the body loosened up, and it's easier to get the body loosened up if you can get the arms taken off. So, that's what we're doing there. And I think, oh no, okay. For a second I worried I waited too long and it cooled off too much, but no, it's okay. Alright, those will go in the bucket. Let's see how Troy's body is doing. Now this is where it gets fun. Let me make sure my camera angle's down low enough. And this might be difficult to see. So once the body gets hot enough and the glue starts softening up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the needle nose pliers, I'm going to stick them here into the arm joint. I'm going to put the other shoulder on the counter space, and I'm going to kind of wedge the needle nose into the shoulder joint slowly so that the glue starts to separate. Now you can't see it from your angle. You see that the seam is starting to show a white mark? That's the glue loosening up. Okay, let me do it a little bit from the other side. Alright, it's still not quite there. So I'm going to give that another minute. While that's going, I am going to go ahead and get this first season Picard. Throw him in the water. And now let's get Odo out. Now this is when you got to be real careful. Remember that that chest cavity is full of hot water. So make sure you kind of let it drain out before you go pulling it out. Same thing, I'm going to stick the pliers in there. And, oh yeah, this is coming apart real good. If you look right there, you can see the seam is starting to pop apart. Same thing on the other side. This is good. This is good. And this is where the butter knife comes in handy. I'm trying to see if I can show you. Ah, there we go. Okay. Now that I've got it in, I've got the butter knife into that seam, and I can slowly start to loosen up all the pieces. Everything's come apart perfectly. That's that part where I was talking about the peg goes down. You'll see there is all of the internals for Odo, and they easily pop back together. Of course, when I completely reassemble him with the new head, I'll put a new little tiny drop of glue in there to reseal that, and he'll be good to go with a new body. Now I'm going to keep working on this Deanna Troi for a minute, and oh yeah, that loosened up nicely. Now again, now it is a lot harder sometimes working on these female bodies because they are so much smaller. But there, I got the butter knife in. It's doing pretty well. Now be careful when these come apart. Don't force it too quickly, especially the little pegs here will pop off and go flying, and you don't want that to happen. So I've done enough that the legs have popped out, and now I think I'm going to throw that back in for just a few more seconds. I think there's some glue that still needs to loosen up inside there. Make sure she's sitting in the spoon I put down. Little worm. So I'll go ahead and get this first season Picard, get his arms pulled out. Oh. And drop him back in order to, and again, this is how the pegs look on the arms. And while they're still hot, they are super easy to reconnect. And you can put them back together, take them apart. Those are real simple. Same with the leg joints, where they, on like these, the DS9 and Voyager ones that have the twisting thigh joint, it's the same thing. It pops out real easy. Which on that, go ahead and throw that Cisco in. Let me fish out Troi. Again, I don't know if you can see all the water dripping out of there, so make sure you get that clear, because you don't want to burn yourself while you're doing this, especially if you're heat sensitive. Be real careful. If you need to wear gloves or something, please do. I've dealt with heat and fire and worked in kitchens, and my hands are used to it. So don't take too much off the fact that, oh, he did it, I can do it. Do what you need to for yourself. Now, this Troi torso is being stubborn on one of the pegs. Oh, there it goes, and that's what I was talking about. Be careful. So, and the reason I said be careful is this little peg, it's not... Oh, this one's actually got apparently it had a touch of glue on it, but it was not necessarily attached. So it could have popped off and flown across the kitchen and under the refrigerator, and who knows. always drives me crazy when that happens. So again, I'm going to finish off this demonstration with this Picard again. Just you use the pliers just to start loosening it up. And if the plastic looks like it's about to start twisting on its own, stop. Get it back in the water. What it means is that It's not hot enough. You're simply pulling plastic away and possibly breaking it. So don't do that. I mean, not unless you're willing to lose the piece that you didn't need. Otherwise, be very careful. Again, popping this back in place. Because those shoulder joints are so simple. To do. And there we go. Alright, hopefully I've explained enough about how to separate the torso. I was trying to think if I needed to separate anyone's legs. Hopefully this tutorial helps enough that you can figure out how to do it for your own. But I did realize that there are others like Vedek Barile here, that the torso and skirt all the way down is one piece. In situations like this, it's actually easier if you can get your butter knife wedged into one of the seams in the bottom and slowly start getting the glue to kind of loosen up, because these, when they're put together like this, it is much harder. You'll see the seams starting to loosen up here on the side. Again, why I have two butter knives, because getting these to loosen up, and he's been in the hot water for quite a while now. Alright, that's good. Something's starting to loosen up. Okay, there we go. You see, I'm just working down. I think now that I've got that wedged in there good, I'll stick him back in the hot water for a few minutes and continue working on some of my others. But that's going to be about it for today. If you've got any questions, feel free to shoot. I will try and answer them as best I can, or make a follow-up video if I need to. Alright, thanks for watching.